We're back with our next guest. We have with us Phil Demmel of Vio-lence. Welcome to the show, Phil.
It sounds good when you say it like that. Yeah, it's good to be here.
I really wanted to say Vio-lence, but I tried to contain myself a little bit.
That's all right.
Okay, so Phil, you are a founding member of the band. The band split up in '93, reformed for some short periods of time, and then in 2019 you decided to give it another go. So tell us about the events that led up to a decision to start the band up again.
Well, I had quit a 16-year career with Machine Head, and following a very short stint playing in Slayer, Sean gave me a call and asked if I wanted to do some shows. So I was pretty shocked at this, since the last time I had seen Sean, he was pretty gaunt and in bad health. Mm-hmm. He was going through a liver transplant, and so I was pretty surprised that he was up for doing shows. So that was in January of 19, and Sean was the catalyst for all this, and the idea was to come back and do a show and see how it went, and we all took a flyer on that, and we put a show up for sale. It sold out in like a day or something.
Wow.
And so we said, okay, let's do another one. And it sold out in minutes. And, it's like lots of pressure involved. And so it was pretty exciting to see it kind of blow up into having some legitimate fun.
It must have felt good that people didn't forget you after all these years.
Yeah, it's crazy, and seeing everybody when I be on the road with Machine Head going, oh, I've been a fan since Vio-lence. And, and I would tell everybody, I said, if that were true, then there might not have been a Machine Head. There would have been if Vio-lence was as popular as everybody makes it seem that we were, then we would have never broken up. So.
Well, you're popular now, and
they like us.
And we're here today to talk about this EP, Let the World Burn. And Phil, we know you have been in quite a few big bands, like you have mentioned in your career, but here you are now writing for a thrash album again. So what was it like for you getting back into a thrash writing groove again?
Oh, it was so foreign to me because I hadn't done it in so long, and I had written some heavy riffs for Machine Head, and some were used and some weren't, towards the end there especially. And so it was exciting to... let me just choose my words very carefully here. It was exciting to get back into. I really revisited that first record because I wanted to really incorporate a lot of those elements that we had on that first record and make it current, with have that same attitude, but with 35 years of songwriting experience and guitar playing and song structuring experience, so I wanted to, have all those elements, but with this new vibe and this new, I don't want to say it like I'm prejudiced against the old stuff, but just maybe a little jaded toward, a little jaded in the sense of like the filter gets tighter as you start going through some certain things.
Well, that kind of leads me into what I was going to ask you anyways, because lots of things have changed in 29 years as far as technology and recording processes too, totally redefining the listening experience and recording experience from, 29 years ago. We don't even have half the shit now that we did, we didn't have it back then that we have now. So, how did you go about with the recording process for this album and putting it all together so it doesn't sound, the last time we heard from you was, 29 years ago, and now it's going to sound like, wow, it's so clear.
Yeah. I mean, especially the last recording experience we had was probably the worst experience we had recording. And nobody's fault, but everybody's involved. Everybody could point a finger at everybody and be accurate in that sense. So, the songs are... the songs were it was painstakingly, gone over. I remember hearing and reading about Dimebag when he finished Vulgar, and I love that record so much, and to hear him say when he sat down and was done, he just said, it's perfect. I wanted that feeling, and I didn't want to I didn't want to stop with anything short of me feeling that this is exactly and just perfect the way that we would want it. And so having those, the recording, we recorded locally with a guy named Juan Orteaga, who has done all the biggies from the Bay Area, Testament and Exodus, and he did a couple of Machine Head records that I worked on, and him and I have a good working relationship. He's super close. He's one of the dudes, and having Christian from Fear Factory on board, he really helped with the pre-production, so we were able to record some songs and go through, getting Perry up to speed with recording and recording with a click and not recording with a click, and just getting used to having that, not having that red light fever and 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 getting some practice in before we went in and doing it. So I was able to do my solos at my house in my home studio, which was pretty awesome to, play a solo 100 times and and not feel pressure from it. It's just, it's me. It's not some other dude here having to, erase and do it again, but it made me a better player in that sense that I would chop my solos up and do them in parts. I would punch in and do, before, and I wanted to play them all the way through. I wanted to do a one pass, if it's a 30-second solo, do 30 seconds of, all the way through. And that's what I was able to accomplish. So, Sean recording, was just a champion, man. He, the dude, it's amazing. He's, just writes the most amazing lyrics, tells this, he paints this beautiful and brutal picture, that I just, not everybody's into the descriptive lyrics, but I am, and I love all the metaphors and all just the smart man's, smart person's lyrics. And that's what he did it so good. I'm really proud of all the dudes and what they did on these 5 songs.
Now, did you do most of the writing on this, or is it like a collaborative effort between all of you?
I would say that I did almost all the writing on this. I think that there were certain ideas. Sean had some ideas for a couple of parts, and it's great because he's such not a musician that his ideas are so far out of the box that they work and they're cool. And same with his phrasing and the way he sings. It's so chopped up and so cool. And Bobby I think Bobby came up with a few ideas. So small things. So most of the structuring and the riffs were all the riffs were mine.
So
it was me and Perry hammering parts out.
So tell us then, as listeners, a little bit about this EP. We haven't heard you in a long time. Here you are with this EP. What can we expect to hear?
Man, like I was saying, I really revisited that first record and wanted to kind of immerse myself with the signature sounds and aspects of what we were at that time. The thing I like about the last Megadeth record, Dystopia, this new one ain't out yet, but about Dystopia is that he really incorporated a lot of his old, this sounds like Hangar 18, but it's not, but it really feels like, it feels like all those old cool elements of those Megadeth songs that you liked. And while I didn't really plagiarize Eternal Nightmare, I wanted to grab that rawness and that teen angst of just, unbridled brutality and just, just no regard. I remember I did a lot of stupid shit when I was a kid, and just because I the lack of responsibilities that I had, I never dream about doing it now just because of all the responsibilities I had, but having just the reckless abandon that I wanted to represent in the music, and with incorporating all that time, I don't know if I said that already, but the 35 years of performing and guitar playing and songwriting, I wanted to update them and kind of inject them with that adult, with that maturity, and with the, like you were saying, with the updated production and being able to hear everything and hearing all the little stuff that Perry's doing, and because there's so much little things that we, wouldn't that you don't hear on those earlier albums. And I wanted to, we wanted it all to be super clear. And I want to hear what Sean is saying. I want to hear what Christian's playing, and I want to hear all of Bobby's notes that he's playing on his solos.
So now that you have this EP under your belt, are you bursting with ideas for the next album, Phil?
Me and Sean have been meaning to get together for a bit. I've had another song down for a couple months now, but we haven't. I've been fucking really busy and doing other shit, and I wish I could commit more time to this, but there are other things to do, and you've seen that you might not have seen that I've been filling in with Lamb of God and Overkill and these other bands, and I want to pay off my house.
You still got bills to pay.
Yes. So, there will be, I don't know if it's going to be a full length. I really like the EP idea, the four to five songs. Those, I've been saying, it's just like getting a rabbit punched in the face 5 times real quick, and then, then you let them off the hook, and then leaving them wondering, oh, what the fuck was that? Do I want more of that? Or just a taste, man.
So with your involvement in all these other bands, do you think that you guys are going to be able to sneak a show here and there out there?
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing, they'll be, the band will be playing on and off throughout the rest of the year. We got shows set up with Corner. We're doing like a Midwest to East Coast 5-6 dates with Corner, and we're going to be doing some festivals overseas.
Cool.
And lining up all the fun stuff. We want to do all the fun stuff. We don't, and I don't mean to pick on the El Pasos and the Santa Fe's and the Des Moines, Iowas of the world, but we're not going to be sitting in the van hitting those markets, in the middle of the week. We're going to be going to the major markets and hitting those on the weekends.
Well, there you guys have it. Vio-lence have a new album out on Metal Blade Records called Let the World Burn. You can check out the band, on their social media pages to find out more info on shows, merchandise, where they're going to be playing, all that kind of stuff. And Phil, thank you for taking the time to do this with us today, and we wish you and the band all the best.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys so much.